Good morning, guys. Today, Will Smith shares with us another rule for success, one of his favorites, and Evan Carmichael's favorite as well, and that is make a choice. So, Will Smith goes on to tell us that he truly believes that by making choices, he can create anything he wants in life. He wants to represent possibility, he wants to represent the magic of what we really are through that one thing, making a choice. And I love this because for me, determination stands for making a choice and following up and never giving up until you see that choice through. And so Will Smith gives us an example of how he believes he can create anything by studying it, by learning it, by being relentless in it. But it all starts with a choice. You have to make a choice to improve you so that you can improve your life and those around you. And it's possible. Have a great morning, everyone.
Rise and shine, it's espresso time.
Good morning, Believe Nation. It's Evan. I am not a morning person, but here's what I know. When you start your day with a powerful routine that inspires you, it will change your life, like watching these videos. And in celebration of my recent one-on-one with Les Brown, get ready for a shot of espresso from our vaults with Les Brown.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
So I went to the next mode, necessary, to start talking to people and seeking and asking for what I wanted and leveraging relationships and trying to find out how do the people do it that went ahead of me? How do they do it? And then what is it I need to do? How is it I need to train myself, to develop myself? What's the resources that will be required in order to make it happen? And as I start seeking out and asking questions, I started running into people who said, I know someone who can help you do that. And they helped me get connected with those people. Remember, we have so much energy that can take us so far. It's necessary that you hook up with some other energy that can take you to the next level. I hooked up with them. They said, let's go. I said, away we go. And guess what? Here we are. I love it. You want your stuff? It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you don't take any objection or disappointment or defeats personally, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. And here's something you've got to resolve. Say this to yourself every day. See, as long as you're breathing, you got a shot at your dream. That's the way I resolve. Say this, please. It's not over until I win. You got that right. It's not over till I win. Not over till I get through. It's not over till I get over. Not over till I get what I want. Door can't open today, look out. I'm going to come back and take the hinges off. That's how you got to do that. You've got to have that kind of courage, that type of determination. If you want to make it happen, it's you. That you've got to take personal responsibility to make it happen.
It's not over until I win. It's not over until I win. It's not over until I win. I would say it's not over ever. Ever. It's just not over. How sad is that when it's over? Like, you never win. It's a constant battle. It's a constant grind. And yet, you're always winning. Because the race is the win. The progress is the win. The journey is the win. It's never over. And I think embracing that attitude is really healthy. That idea of emptying the ocean with a ladle, like Buddha said. You wake up when you do something impossible. You're working towards an impossible goal. As soon as you have a goal that is achievable and then you hit that goal, what happens? You get sad. It's like a moment, like, yeah, we hit it. As soon as you feel like you can hit it, for me, even not even hitting it, for me, it was hitting 1 million YouTube subscribers. By the time this video comes out, we're probably there. Just knowing that I could hit it, that's it. I checked out. It's like, it's not important to me. I don't even care about celebrating 1 million anymore because I knew it was going to happen. As soon as you know you're going to hit a goal, whether you achieve it yet or not, at least for me, you lose interest. I lose interest. Like, I'm not passionate about that goal anymore. So you got to set a bigger goal. That's what happens. If you don't have a bigger goal to shoot towards, something else that's going to motivate you, then you get depressed, you get sad, you get down, you don't know what to do. So it's never over. There is no retirement. Why do you want to retire? Like, why even think about retirement? Why would you want to retire? If you love what you're doing, why would you ever want to take a break from it? Why would you ever want to cancel it and just sit on the beach all day? If you want to escape and sit on the beach, it's because you hate your life. And so the answer is not go sit on the beach, is do something more meaningful now. The answer is not save up years of money to get to 65 that you can retire and then go live in some resort community for the rest of your life and be bored. It's do something meaningful now. You have the opportunity. Take charge of your life and change it. I got asked a question recently where somebody said, if you had an extra hour in your day, what would you do? And other people were answering, I would sleep more, I would go hiking more, I would, figure out whatever they wanted to do more. I hate that question. What would I do more? I would do more of what I'm doing. I love the time I'm spending. I wouldn't sleep more. If I wanted to sleep more, I would just sleep more. If I wanted to go hiking more, I would do that. Like, I don't agree with the premise of the question because it assumes that I'm not doing work that I'm already excited about now. It's like, I don't need an extra hour in my day to be able to be fulfilled, to now suddenly I can go off and do the things that I want to do. I take responsibility, right? Like, you're delegating responsibility to some other force, that if I had 25 hours, then I would do something special with my life. Just watch me. No, you wouldn't. If you had 25 hours in a day, you'd be in the same rut that you are right now. Period. It's only when you take responsibility for the resources that you have and say 24 is what I got, it's what everybody got, this is what Steve Jobs has and Howard Schultz and Evan Carmichael and Oprah Winfrey, everybody, we got the same 24. The difference is how you use it. Is it being used in a fulfilling way to you? The people who just wish they had an extra hour would waste it. They'd squander it. They wouldn't find a practical way to apply it. I guarantee you. It's that concept that if you had a new planet, Earth 2, and you put everybody on there and everybody starts with the same amount of money, right? Or the same amount of success, or however you want to define it. Within a short amount of time, the same dynamics would play out. The same people who had money here would have money there. People who had success here would have success there. And it's not because they're taking advantage or they're screwing people over. They just think differently. They have a different mindset. They're choosing positivity. They're more determined to win. And the people who had the negative baggage, who felt like they couldn't do things, who were just complaining, who were blaming lack of resources and everything else, they would end up losing again. This is a constant. It doesn't matter what you start with. It matters about your mindset and your motivation and your attitude. The people who you look up to the most, the people on the wall behind me, the people who are the heroes of your career that said, if I could be something like that, that'd be amazing. If I could have that kind of level impact, if I could touch people like Oprah can. The people that you look up to the most had nothing. It's not about what you start with. If you take the money and resources away from all the most successful people, they would get it back again. Because of their mindset, because they're determined. Stop blaming the lack of resources. It doesn't make a difference. Stop blaming your lack of a 25th hour. It doesn't make a difference. There is no retirement, period. Enjoy your work. I challenged a YouTuber to make a video a day for 30 days. She wanted to grow her channel. For those YouTubers, I would say, if you want to grow your channel, go daily. Daily content, 10-minute videos. She was making like 4 to 5-minute videos a couple times a week. Go daily, go 10 minutes. Do that consistently. Do that for 30 days. She's getting closer to the end of the 30 days. And I told her, great, now just keep it up. She's like, well, for how long? Forever. Like, you just keep going. There's no end date. You just keep going. Video a day, 10 minutes plus. Just keep going. Find a way to make it work. Like, there is no end date on this stuff, guys. There's no magical, like, I'm going to sell my company and then I'm going to go retire for the rest of my life. Like, enjoy the work. You will not be happy when you sell your business. You're going to want to do something else. And so if you look at the most successful people, they enjoy the climb. They enjoy seeing that mountain and starting to climb up that mountain. They enjoy the journey. It's not just about hitting some goal. There is no retirement. There is no end date. It's just forever and ever and ever and ever. And when you're doing something that you love, that's amazing. Like, imagine being in love with your husband or wife forever and ever and ever and ever. Why would you ever want to give that up? There's no retirement from that. There's no retirement from an amazing marriage. There's no retirement from an amazing child relationship. Like, I don't want to ever retire from Nina, ever retire from Hayden. I love them. I love my life with them. I want that to be forever. I love my business the same way. I love you guys. I love the impact. That's forever. Never, ever, 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 ever ending. It may not be YouTube always, it may be something else. But you take the believe out of me, that's it. It's game over. And I hope you find the thing that you are so determined to keep going that you never want to quit.
Now I've got some special bonus clips that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We need to take some action. But when you watch a video, you get motivated and you create a specific plan of action, that number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of you following through. And when you publicly commit to other people, like leaving a comment down in this video, your number jumps to 95% chance of you actually following through on the plan you set for yourself. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Leave it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
Most people.
Good afternoon, guys. Making choices is the most powerful thing we've been gifted to be able to do. And it all originates with our thoughts, our mindset. What is taking place in our mind in terms of what thought energies we're allowing into our mind, and then what we do with those energies. So think about it very carefully. What is it that you are thinking and then saying? Because what you say is really a symbol of what you're thinking. So once we understand that power, and once we understand how every decision or every thought impacts everything around us, once we take responsibility of that, we become really empowered to make those decisions that are going to improve our life. So remember that your choice, making a choice in itself and being decisive, will put you on that path to becoming your true great self. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
I was worth $2 million on paper, and I'd never been more unhappy in my life.
Somebody is going to get started in crypto and NFTs, has a similar mentality. Like, I don't understand this stuff. I'm not a money guy. The rich keep getting richer, but I don't know, something about this year. I want to give it a shot. They don't have a lot to invest. What are they doing? What's their first step?
People make bad decisions because they need to protect their ego, and they get put in a situation where the only way to protect their ego is to hide or be defensive or whatever. If you invest like that, then you're good, and it doesn't matter. Pretend I'm on my deathbed, Evan. And Tom, what's your regret? One of my huge regrets would be...
Mr. Tom Bilyeu in the house.
How we doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm very well.
All right. Listen, I got to ask you a question. Do you recognize some of the characters on this hoodie?
Oh my God. Holy hell. Did you get that made?
Okay, so this is how amazing your Discord is. You have an awesome person named Maddie. I don't know if you recognize the name or not. She's from Estonia. And when I first bought my legendary key, she's like, send me the actual key and I want to make something for you. And so
Whoa.
She made this and shipped it from Estonia. I'll stand up. That's my key. This is it right here.
That's so dope.
Goes into the pocket. These are all like the little characters that are for my key.
Wow.
She put like the logo here. And anyway, I said, you know what, Maddie? I'm going to wear this when I do my one-on-one with Tom.
So. Wow.
And here we are.
So dope. Well, Maddie, you have all my love. That is wicked cool. I love it.
Okay, we've got a whole bunch of NFT stuff to talk about, but I promised Maddie that I would ask the first question from her because of this. Awesome. All right. So this is from Maddie from Estonia. Passionate impactivist. Hi, Tom. I'm a visual and material artist with a mission to bring more joy and meaningful reminders of light into the world. I hope to encourage and inspire others to tune into their inner light by being a thoughtful, creative giver myself. Question. If you were a visual or material artist and you had the same kind of mission as Impact Theory, what kind of art would you make
to make it tougher, filmmaking and writing is off limits?
I think the thing I would really be focused on is you want something that is interactive. So the more we play in Web3, the more I'm thinking about what can we create that actually lets people interact with that and deepen their relationship to the content in some way. So if she's got a thesis that she's trying to put out into the world, in what can you create? I'm going to give terrible ideas because I am not what she is, but imagine hiding, like if hidden in your sweatshirt, there were symbols that meant something, and there was one that was surprising, like we still haven't minted. There's one symbol, of course, that I've alluded to before, the 51st symbol, which I only think I've said that out loud once before, and it hasn't been minted. And so that, like finding that symbol, burying something in the art that lets people that really want to engage with her mission to find it and then be the one to find it. Now you're creating something that people can really engage with. So the art is both beautiful and complete in and of itself. But if you can put something in it that allows people to engage and participate, and that I think is the right way to think about the reason Web3 is going to work, is that human psychology is such that we all want to participate, and something means way more to us when we can engage deeply with it. And that's really the ethos that I think Web3 is bringing out. So yeah, that's what I would do. Find ways to make it so that people can really engage with that piece of art.
All right, Maddie, that was for you. And listen, you're getting recognized. We're wearing it on the stream. And the next time I go see Tom and hug him, I'm going to wear this too.
I like that.
Okay, let's dive in. So Tom, I've liked to say that the Impact Theory Keys, I think it's the first $100 billion project. Yeah, I think we got Punks and Apes are like 5 billion each-ish. So I don't think you beat them to 10, but I think on a long enough timeline,
there it is.
Tom Bilyeu takes it as the first $100 billion project. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, I love it. I don't think about it in terms of revenue numbers, if I'm completely honest. But every time you say it, I like the sound of it. But I do think that I have the right thesis of where this all goes when we get to the masses. And so I feel like we're building something that right now makes us look atypical, but I think flash forward 5 years, 10 years, I think that we are doing it in sort of the default way, which is to create emotional connection between the IP, the NFT, and the person that owns it. And right now there's so much focus on the tradability, on the gambling aspects, that we look anomalous. But I don't think that plays out in the long term. I think that the question of how human psychology plays out has already played out. So this is just a new playground for the same thing. And so, as I say, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. I think that the way that the world is now will rhyme with the way that the world is in Web3. And I think that emotion and connection and feeling like, yo, I now get to own this thing that I care deeply about, versus, yo, I get to own this thing, and if I watch really closely and I know what the floor price is and I time it just right, that I can make money, that speaks very clearly to a large number of people, and they've brought so much energy to the space. So I'm not denigrating the people that trade in the slightest. I've done some trading myself. But when I think about, I call it the matrix. The matrix matters to me. I have actually constructed a part of my identity around the matrix. And so things that let me attach to that, or I came to Harry Potter late. Like I read Harry Potter in 2021, and I fell in love with it so hard that I wanted things that allowed me to connect more deeply to the brand. So anyway, that's what we're doing. That's how we're engaging. I think it's so aligned with human psychology that I think that we have a very good shot of becoming a massive brand.
You talk about floor price, and that call that you did, where you kind of addressed the issues around floor price, where it's supposed to be like a 15-minute call that led to 2.5 hours of you just like taking every question and no matter how kind of rude it was, just listening, and you taking it and saying, hey, it's on me, even if it's my team, it's me, because I'm running this thing and I'm all for it. Give me your feedback. That's one of my top 10 business moments of all time, dude.
Wow.
I texted you after, like, that was a masterclass. And because you could see people make videos and you see people on YouTube give advice, but you actually lived it, like that was probably not one of your favorite moments to sit through. but maybe overhyped the project a little bit, and some of the wrong people came in, and you said, "Hey, I'm all for it. I'll buy back. I'll burn it. You tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'll fix it." And it was very public, and I hope it's one of those moments that I hope if I'm ever in that situation that I would have the balls to do that. I feel like I'd be too cowardly to even be in that situation in the first place.
No.
But dude, that was one of my top 10. So one of those moments is like, oh, if I ever get there, I hope I can pull off a Tom Bilyeu.
You will. It will be very easy. Look, those moments are pretty straightforward. So if you are, I want good things for people, and I really believe that there are ideas that I have spent the last 25 years of my life soaking in that actually work. And all I'm trying to do is present ideas that work. And so the ideas that I present are the ones that I use every day. They're the ones that you use. You know these ideas. And so living them becomes easy because they work. And so, that stuff, I think, if you have the right mindset, which you do, then it becomes a pretty straightforward. It's not like there was another option. I mean, of course, you can always do something else, but to be the person I want to be.
Like what most people do, like most people would hide, would deny, would blame, would pass the buck. Like those are all legit options that most people take, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Carol Dweck is careful to differentiate between a growth mindset and a false growth mindset. And I have learned that what a growth mindset is optimized for is results. And so if you know that to get the result that you want, you only need to adopt a growth mindset, then suddenly you make some very careful decisions, largely around what you build your ego around. So people make bad decisions because they need to protect their ego, and they get put in a situation where the only way to protect their ego is to hide or be defensive or whatever. But if you build your self-esteem around, not around being right, but around identifying the right answer, around staring nakedly at your inadequacies. And also, I just have a fundamental belief that the only way to get better is to iterate. And so no matter how mad people get as I'm iterating, it still is the path forward. And so you can't iterate well unless you are looking truly at what is working, what the state of things is, and then addressing it from there. And so, yeah, I mean, that to me it's just effective. So really acknowledge the truth of the situation, really acknowledge what you need to do differently to get a different result, and then go do that thing. And then as long as you do that enough times, you will win, which is why I say on a long enough timeline, I can beat anyone at anything. Of course, I know that isn't literally true. But if you act as if it is true, you take the right steps.
Yeah, I guess what's great is to actually see it be put into motion when truth is coming. Like when you're up against a wall, what do you do? And it's like, I want Tom Bilyeu on my team. I don't know. It was one of my favorite moments.
Very kind.
When did you decide to become a finance guy, or at least to learn and educate? Because you've been the mindset guy and the health guy and the entrepreneur guy, and it's like, I'll just make the money and I'll give it to my advisors and they'll do whatever with it, just don't lose me money. To then watch your journey of bringing people on, learning about crypto, asking all the dumb questions, having us kind of learn alongside you. Like, when did you flip that, oh, I actually care now. Like, you've had enough money to retire and buy the island and whatever, but I actually care about this now. And I need to teach other people about this. It's become that important.
So the seed got planted when COVID kicked off. And at the beginning of the pandemic, I really was afraid that people were going to get devastated financially by it. And, it's hard to recapture now because the government has really come in and pumped a lot of stimulus in. But at the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't know what was coming, and I was just really, really worried. And so I started interviewing financial experts and realized that none of them knew how to talk to the average person, at least not the people that I had contacts with and could get on the show. And they were all like really high level macro people. So I was like, somebody has to answer this question. And then I had been getting harangued by one of my employees for, 8 or 9 months. And he was like, Tom, you've got to look at Bitcoin. It's almost irresponsible that you're not looking at this. And please look at it. Like, he had made insane gains. And he was like, you have to check it out. And I kept saying, David, look, I am very good at making money. That's what I have put myself towards for the last, 25 years. And I have no interest in getting good at learning how to invest money. And, you know, there's a very true quote, which is, you can be anything you want to be, but you can't be everything you want to be. And so I would love to, you know, go learn more about this, that, or the other, but I only have time to get truly mastery level at so many things. And so learning finance, learning investing wasn't one of those things. I just wasn't that interested in it. And then about 6 months into him haranguing me about learning about Bitcoin, somebody says to me, "Hey, Tom, you need to learn about NFTs." And I'd never heard the letters NFT strung together in a sentence before. And I went and looked at it and I was like, wait a second, I had learned about digital scarcity about 5 years before that moment. And I said, when I saw digital scarcity, this is going to change my business forever. And I then promptly forgot about it. And that today is what we call NFTs. And the technology wasn't ready when I first learned about it. And unfortunately, the guy that was running that business ended up folding. It was just ahead of its time. And as I learned about the blockchain, so 72 hours after hearing NFT for the first time, I had allocated millions of dollars to build Web3 stuff and completely pivoted the company to become a Web3 company. It just was self-evident to me that this is one of the ways that the average person was going to be able to gain financially from the things that they loved and wanted to support. And so it just was so clear that, again, line up with psychology, that this was going to be the future, and that I thought I could help people more by really going down that path. And I thought that I could disrupt the legacy players by embracing a new technology that I knew that they would be slow to adopt. And so in all of that, you learn about the blockchain. In learning about the blockchain, you inevitably learn about Bitcoin, Ethereum. In learning about Bitcoin and Ethereum, you start learning about macro trends and learning about how money works. And as you learn about how money works, you get more and more angry at sort of the ridiculousness of the system, which then made me feel like I had a moral obligation. I already was worried about people from the pandemic, but now I felt like I had a moral obligation, like, holy hell, I'm learning about something that I've gotten this far in my life without knowing about. Now that I know about it, I really want to tell other people because I think that they can do something with the information. And so, yeah, that got me obsessed. And then from there, I started investing in my own life. And look, crypto's up and down, but if you'd asked me, you know, even a month ago, dude, I'm up an obscene amount from my crypto. And so it's like, God, here we are, the rich getting richer again, which I don't find inherently interesting, even though I am theoretically the person that's meant to be advantaged by that idea. What Web3, what Bitcoin, what the blockchain introduces is now truly the only thing that separates the average person from just an incredible investor, other than access to that starting capital, is ideas. Now, that's a world I'm excited about. That's a world that I'm literally trying to bring forward, is that a set of ideas changed my life. I'm trying to pay those ideas forward. They have nothing to do with me. The ideas existed long before me. They will exist long after me. And now a new set of ideas exists that can give people true financial freedom. They have to still be smart and they have to play the game well. You have to learn all about it. You have to understand the risks and all of that. But I learned, this would have been, I don't know, man, maybe 8 years ago. I didn't know what an accredited investor was. And all of a sudden, I found myself an accredited investor. And I was like, well, I don't understand. I still don't know anything about finance. But because I was worth over $1 million, I was suddenly an accredited investor. So I was like, wait a second. Now, because I have money, I can make more money? I was like, why 5 years ago didn't I have the kind of access that I have now? Like, this is absurd. And I remember saying to somebody, why are people rioting in the streets over this? Like, this seems insane. You've created a system where just because I have money, you assume I know more? Like, it was just too weird to me. And because I didn't grow up with money, like, this is all very foreign to me, right? So you can take the kid out of Tacoma, but you can't take Tacoma out of the kid. And so it's like I still have that sort of teetering on rural sensibility of like, I'm not smarter than the next person. So now it feels weird that you're giving me access to things that other people don't have access to. So I think that the blockchain and Web3 equalizes that. And of course, that was the whole point. But I came to this all backwards, right? I came to this from already having generated wealth, learning about NFTs first, and then backing into the blockchain so that I could build on top of it.
You've tied your identity
Good evening, guys. I want to share with you a personal example of my path to living, laughing, and loving my way to infinite mind wealth. And this comes from my eldest daughter, who reminded me of some of the things that we often talk about. And as you know, I'm very passionate about developing my mind and helping people do the same for themselves. And I was feeling a little bit insecure. There was, I think my daughter had made a comment on social media on one of my postings, and I jokingly said to her, half jokingly, but half of it was vulnerable and insecurities on my end. I said to my daughter, you didn't say to Daddy that you loved him. You said it to Mommy, but not to Daddy. And then she just looked at me and said, Daddy, the thing that you always talk about that you remind me of? What are you thinking, Daddy? You know how I feel about you. And then so I realized she's right. I got to take my own advice. So thank you, sweetie. Have a great evening, everyone.
I used to struggle a lot with manifesting, just the idea of it. I would watch videos on it and I didn't understand what they were saying. I just didn't understand it. Where there's manifesting a lot of attractions, like, what are they saying? I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. And I would rewind it and watch again. It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. And it seemed weird, silly, not good enough for me to just sit on a couch and think about money coming into your wallet or whatever it was that you're trying to manifest. You got to go do something. That in law of attraction, action is at the end of attraction. Like, you got to go off and do the work. If that's been you, if you've been kind of struggling with manifesting or law of attraction, you don't know how it makes sense, you rewind videos and it feels too woo-woo for you, let me explain it from a different perspective, and maybe it'll help. At least this is what's helped me. The first thing that I realized is very scientific, is from the reticular activating systems. It's part of your brain that decides what to pay attention to and what to not pay attention to. There are so many things that are happening right now all around you that you are not paying attention to. Most things your brain filters out. The job of the reticular activating system, you can go look it up, RAS, is to filter out most things and only filter in the things that you should care about. So for example, what color are your socks today? What color is your underwear today? Looking down this street, and I didn't know that there was a pine tree here. What are you paying attention to as you look out the window? You're looking at the tree, you're looking at the sign here, you're looking at the driveway, you're looking at the color of the sky, you're looking at the house, you look at what material that might be. You're not looking at anything because it's too blurry. You're still looking at my face, you're looking at my car, you're looking at the color of the headrest, you're looking at my outfit. Like, what are you paying attention to? Most things you're ignoring, because there's no possible way to pay attention to everything. Pay attention to the dog. Justana. Hello. Good girl. Right? We're ignoring most things because it wouldn't serve you. It's just impossible. It'd be information overload. If you feel like you're overloaded already, just imagine if you took in absolutely everything. So your eyes are bringing it in and your brain is filtering out most of it. So what does your brain actually pay attention to? Well, the reticular activating system will choose to say, okay, you've set an intention, right? I want to pay attention to X. And now all of a sudden, you're going to see that more often. I just bought a house. So in that process, we started paying attention a lot more to houses. So one of the things I noticed was the for sale sign here, where I may have not noticed that as much in the past, but because I'm thinking house, boom, now I'm paying attention to the for sale sign. You ever notice when you buy a car, you start seeing that car everywhere, right? Or even thinking about buying a car, you're thinking about buying an X. You start seeing it on the street more often. Why? That's your reticular activating system. Basically saying, I want to pay attention to those things. So that car was still around, right? I mean, I got this car, we've got a Porsche, and now I see Porsches more often. Those Porsches still existed. They were already there. I just didn't notice them before, and now I notice them because I have one, right? So whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're setting an intention toward, it's not just sit on your couch and meditate and imagine money coming into your wallet, or a new car, or a new house, or business growth, or you speaking on stage, or whatever your goals are, right? It's not just sitting on it and visualizing it, but it's noticing it and the elements of it in your environment. That when you start thinking about it, right? We are what we consistently think about. When you start thinking about it, you'll start seeing opportunities around you that were already there. You just filtered it out because you didn't see how it connected. Now your brain's starting to make those connections. Does that make sense? Reticular activating system. You're ignoring most things, but when you set intention on the thing that matters to you, you'll start seeing it in your environment and opportunities for that to happen a lot more often. So that's step number 1, reticular activating system. It's the science. Number 2 is to trust your intuition more. One of the things that really held me back early on in my career was I judged myself too harshly for the ideas that I came up with. And as soon as I came up with an idea, I was like, oh, you can't do that. Or I had to have the perfect plan before I would ever take any kind of action on it. And, just later realized that you can never plan all the way out. There's no way, if you wait till you have the perfect plan, by the time you start actually executing, the plan is dead. It's over. And so you have to trust in your ideas. And so the thing that really helped me is I believe that great ideas flow through me. Believe that great ideas flow through you. This is how you shortcut your brain that's designed to keep you safe. That's how you shortcut the brain out of the equation. You came up with an idea. As long as you're in a positive state of mind, you're trying to serve, right? It's not, I want to go, you're in a jealous rage or you're angry. Don't trust your ideas then. But when you're positive and optimistic and bold and courageous and an idea comes to you, trust that that's the right idea for you. Just trust that it's the right idea and then go do something about it. Where normally what we do is we overthink and we overplan and we overprepare and then we lose the momentum and then the next day and the next week or the next month, it's gone. It's over. It's like, oh, I can't do that. No, that was actually a great idea for you. And it's happened enough to me where those things have worked out, where I come up with an idea and it doesn't make any sense logically, but I just decide to listen to it and do something on it. And it leads to something amazing. The amount of times that that's happened is pretty overwhelming. And so when you have enough repetition, for me, I had to see it. I had to see it enough times come up because I wouldn't just believe it on faith. I had to see it happen enough times. And you could test it yourself. What idea is in your head? What big idea that you want to do? Even a small idea. What's flowing through your head when you're in a positive state? Put on a happy song, move around a little bit, and then notice your thoughts and where it's going and what you want to create or who you want to reach out to, what you want to do. Like what thought comes to mind after you're moving around and having some positive energy? That's probably the right thing for you. And just test it out by doing something about it. And maybe that's a business idea. Maybe that's an email you need to send. Maybe that's a friend you need to reach out to. Maybe that's an act of kindness that you need to do. Whatever the thing is that pops into your mind, trust those ideas. And you could be a scientist. Like I like data and I like science and I like proving things. Maybe I'm a skeptic, I don't know. But in running those experiments, I proved to myself that, yeah, great ideas do flow through me. And so the next time I have a great idea, I'm going to go and take action on it. So number 1, reticular activating system. It's already in your environment. You're just ignoring it. But if you put intention towards it, you start seeing it. Like you notice a new car. When you buy your new car, you see that car everywhere. And then number 2 is trust that good ideas flow through you. Number 3 is the one that I'm working on, that I'm having the hardest time with, and I believe it, and I'm in the process of getting better at it, is when you're thinking about creating something, to talk to yourself in the present moment. And this is something that a lot of the manifestation, a lot of attraction people talk about, but also people like Grant Cardone talk about it. That it's not just the people who you'd associate with it, but other people who've had a lot of success, where you're talking about whatever thing is that you want, that it's already happened, that it's not going to happen in the future, but that it's already happened. If your goal is to speak on stage, then you're visualizing and you're telling yourself, I am on stage. I am speaking to 1 million people, or that's a giant stadium. I am speaking to 70,000 people. I am the author of a best-selling book. I am, like, whatever your goal is. And what I think the point of that is yes, 1, to see yourself accomplishing big things. 2, to not have it be so far away that it lets you off the hook for taking action. But I think most importantly is for you to feel what it feels like to be that. And the more you feel like it feels like to be that, the more it actually becomes true. If your goal is to speak on stage in front of 5,000 people, and you actually feel like you're doing it, You can visualize yourself being on stage and doing it. The goal, I think, I'm still working through this. So 1 and 2, I've got down. 3 is my progress and my journey. So sharing with you. If you feel like you're doing it, if you are on stage and there's 5,000 people clapping for you and cheering you, you just gave the best speech, of your life so far, and you feel what it feels like to walk off that stage and what a gift that you gave people, that the more comfortable you get with that feeling, the more it's going to be you, and the more that's going to show up. Does that make sense? So whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, whoever it is that you're trying to be, whatever your big goals are, that you imagine yourself already having done it. And this is probably not something that I would tell other people, like, oh yeah, I'm a speaker in front of 70,000 people. Because I haven't spoken at a stadium that big. But to yourself, at least, to say it, to see it, to feel it, to do it. If you're trying to heal yourself, like, okay, I am healthy. Yeah, but look, I've got a belly, or I've got a, whatever. Like, I am healthy. I am healthy, and visualizing yourself being healthy, because you want the feeling of what it feels like to be healthy. And the more you feel like you are healthy, and you capture that feeling, the more frequently you're in there, the more likely it's going to show up. So that's probably not the most articulate way to share it, and I'm still working my way through it as well. So as I keep getting better and keep learning, I'll keep sharing with you. But I used to think like manifestation, law of attraction was way out there stuff that I judged and that I didn't understand and that didn't make any sense. Like, just go off and take action, guys. And with time and experience and exposure and practice, using the reticular activating system to notice things around me, by trusting that great ideas flow through me and following through and building momentum, and by talking to myself in the present moment as if I am that person that I want to become, so I can capture that feeling and know what it feels like to be that person. I've shifted and seen some pretty amazing results in my life and business, and I hope it can work for you too.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of much more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and our take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy! Rule number 2, defeat all your fears.